waning days of summer. Although it's not April, we're going to do some science fiction as we spend some time with Michelle Mission favorite Raymond St Jacque in 1969's Change of Mind.
You gotta have a change of mind. You gotta have a change of mind.
White mind, black body. A change of living, a change of loving. Before we examine what it is that makes the self, the mind, or the body, what's going on with you, Lynn?
Yo, what's up, Vince? Shout out to each and every one of you out there who are watching us as we are streaming live via StreamYard to Facebook, as well as YouTube and Twitch and LinkedIn. Hello to each and every one of you in the chat.
Good evening, one and all.
Yes, we are ready for a grand show this evening, and we are going to jump right into it, Vince.
Okay.
We're getting right into it.
Okay.
We're not going to mince any words.
Okay.
We're going right into the show.
Words shall go unminced.
That's right. And the show begins with listener mail.
Missives from the missionaries.
Yes. And as I turn to my email here, we got an email from Ellis Heron.
Hey, what's up, Ellis?
AKA the Corrections Department.
Hey,
fellas, I thoroughly enjoyed your Blaxploitation special episode.
Oh, yeah.
I even thought Josiah Howard's book in anticipation of it. Oh, excuse me. I even bought Josiah Howard's book.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, there you go. We're moving merch. That's what's
excellent.
Up. It's been a great read so far, and I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
I also checked out a few movies for the first time because of the book: Trouble Man, Honky, and Mandingo.
Yeah. I wonder what he thought about Trouble Man. You know, Trouble Man is one of the most disappointing films of all time to me.
Well, Trouble Man was my favorite, Ellis Heron said.
Really?
Mm-hmm. After you review Willie Dolomite, I'm going to start campaigning for Trouble Man next.
Maybe I need to circle back. I know the soundtrack is so good that I've always been disappointed by the film.
See, that's how I feel about Superfly.
Okay.
As for when Vince was trying to link Dervell Martin to Julie Andrews, I wouldn't have had a problem with Jack Lemmon's name being given to help out, especially since sometimes I have issues trying to remember certain actors' names. But kudos to Len for providing more challenging actors for Vince to link.
Glad you're enjoying it, Ellis. Steel sharpens steel.
Also, good on Vincent for linking Helena Bonham Carter. I thought he was going to go the route of Michael Clark Duncan in Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, but Charlton Heston showed more range.
Can I just tell you, until this exact second, I forgot Michael Clark Duncan was in Planet of the Apes.
Me too.
Because I cannot believe a black man signed up to be a damn ape in Planet of the Apes.
Well, wasn't there a black man in the original Planet of the Apes? I thought,
No. Playing an ape.
No, I thought there was a black man that played an ape in the original.
I believe there is.
Isn't what? Oh God, what? I forget the actor's name. The actor from Uptown Saturday Night who plays like the senator guy. You know his name.
Oh, Rosco Lee Brown.
Yeah. I don't
think Rosco Lee Brown is in any of the ape movies.
You look that up. I'll finish his.
All right, because you knew immediately. If anyone is ever going to pull a heist to steal something from me, I have like 4 triggers that I'll get distracted immediately. Yes. Hey, Vince, what color were the costumes of the chimpanzees in Beneath the Planet of the Apes? Oh, hell, let me go look that up.
No, you do your.
All right, go ahead.
Ellis Heron continues.
Rosco Lee Brown and Planet of the Apes.
Lastly, when it comes to Thor, Love and Thunder, I agree some of the jokes went too far. However, I enjoyed it for what it was. That may be partially due to me going in with the bar lowered because of so many mixed reviews. Still, the producers did what they usually do and doubled down on what worked in the previous movie, like the humor in this one. For examples, look at more of the unrealistic stunts in the recent Fast and Furious movies, and more specifically, more comedy in the Venom sequel, which I've not seen. At the end of the day, the producers get their money, and we get another Fast movie, Venom movie, and obviously another Thor movie. Keep up the good work on the great content, guys. Your boy, Ellis Heron from Fort Worth. P.S. What are your thoughts on the Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer? To lend's credit, it ended up being the very definition of a teaser trailer.
Well, first and foremost, Rosco Brown was not in any of the 8 movies.
Okay.
All
right. Fair enough.
Okay.
I thought I heard his voice, but apparently I was wrong.
All right.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which released a teaser trailer this past weekend at San Diego Comic-Con, and it's scheduled to be in theaters this November. What did you think of the trailer, Vincent?
It was surprisingly emotional. Like, I thought it was surprisingly emotional. I think, well, first of all, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was absolutely beautiful. I think the designs, I think the Wakanda designs have remained beautiful.
Yeah,
since it came out initially. I think I was surprised again at how emotional it was with what it appears to be a funeral at the beginning in all the white garb. I thought the music was fantastic. I thought the action was nice. I thought the Aztec, Mayan, pre-Columbus designs for Atlantis were absolutely inspired.
Yeah.
And I've watched it probably 5 times.
So you really enjoyed it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And if the film in any way looks like it's going to reflect the tone of the trailer, it looks like Ryan Coogler and all involved, much like they said, this is going to be a great film that honors Chadwick Boseman. So
yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Ellis mentions it definitely is a teaser trailer, because while some of the imagery is very evocative and hints at things, there is not enough connective tissue in the trailer to really discern what the story is.
Right.
So, which I appreciate.
Right.
In the teaser trailer. And I think it was smart that in the first trailer to this film to go with a more somber note, because of the passing of Chadwick Boseman, which is loosely mentioned imagery wise,
right,
in the film. So while still showing that there is as much pageantry as there is in this movie, as much of all of your favorites are returning to the film, and because of the nature of what's at stake and what the story they're trying to tell, all of them have more agency in this film.
Sure.
And you can tell that immediately from the trailer. But it still hints at the action. Yeah. So you know that absolutely. The longer trailer that will come off will be more in line with what the story is, or at least showcase more of the action pieces
right
in the film. But I think that it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's returned, and I'm looking forward to it. I was a little skeptical when they, at least first hinted at Namor being in this. Yeah. But like you, I like what they did with that. I like how they kind of reworked his imagery and by way of that, at least it seems his origin, to make it a little bit more culturally sensitive, in much the same ways that Warner Brothers did with Aquaman,
Right.
with casting Jason Momoa. So, I did appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, until we get the story, you don't know what's going to happen. But
sure.
It promises to be pretty tight.
Not to get too old school nerd. As soon as I saw the Atlantis stuff, it's like that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio holding the beer and he's pointing at the screen. That's what I did.
Okay.
Because I was 8 years old again.
Yeah.
Because you're old enough to remember, like every 3 or 4 episodes of In Search Of, they would talk about Atlantis.
Yep.
But it was always a dude who was like, Nigel Higginbotham, who was at the Royal Institute of Strange Phenomena in England. Yeah. And he would say that I have done my research and I believe that Atlantis is actually off of the coast of South America.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole tradition of Atlantis being there.
Right.
So I was like, that is so inspired. And then, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming Ruth Carter did everything, but I just love the costumes.
Yeah.
Like I talked about watching the trailer, but I just love the pictures of the costumes. And I just love the fact that there's this brand new canvas
for her to play with,
and create an entire culture.
Yeah. And to that point, what I loved about the imagery is as big as a hit as Aquaman was. I was hit or miss on Aquaman as a film, but you can't knock it was a hit. It made $1 billion.
Yeah.
But this was the first one that I felt like what little underwater scenes you see, because you don't see a whole lot.
Right.
You see a lot of them. They felt immersive. Like I felt like there's the scene where you see them like holding on to whales. And I was like, that's what you need. You need to really feel the scale of what that is.
Absolutely.
And that one imagery, that is one of the images that keeps returning to my mind when I think about that trailer.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, that's really spot on. So
yeah,
it looks smart.
Yeah, it looks very smart. If they pull this off, because I think this is going to be a hard nut. Like on the one hand, it's $1 billion intellectual property that's part of this Marvel thing. But on the other hand, Black Panther was so much bigger than that, and it means so much to so many people. And then on top of that, you have to honor Chadwick Boseman. So like marrying these two challenges, serving these two masters that, again, you hear, like you just said, all your favorites are returned now with new costumes,
right,
for you to buy. Also, here's Namor and Ironheart.
Yeah.
Two new properties that we're going to introduce to the canvas. But at the same time, again, honoring this cultural phenomenon. Like I saw someone who joked and I thought it was funny, but then I thought, you know what? I don't think that's the worst idea, where someone said there needs to be intermission, where like if the funeral is at the beginning, like everyone will go to the theater wearing white for the funeral. Then there needs to be an intermission where we change. And I was like, wow, that's ridiculous. But then, you think about the pageantry and how everyone got dressed up to go see Black Panther. And I was like, I mean, yeah, that's, it's funny and it's haha, but I kind of see where they're coming from with it. Like, this is kind of bigger than, again, Marvel movie 56, phase 5.
Do you think the people are talking in the chat about how much they feel they need to recast T'Challa?
Look, I think it'll happen eventually, but I think this is
especially with the whole multiverse type of thing.
Look, you see it coming a mile away.
Yeah,
but I think this film, you just gonna sit in it.
Yeah, me too.
It'll come. Like
yeah,
it'll come. But
yeah, it'll come by the time of the Avengers.
Right.
It's like 2025.
Right. It'll come.
Because they released like their whole schedule.
Right.
So,
but yeah, I enjoyed it a great deal.
I did too. I really did. I really enjoyed it. Speaking of that, as I mentioned, this was the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes.
This past weekend, where there were a host of trailers that came out.
Yes, there were.
Now, we're not going to talk about all the trailers because not all of them necessarily germane to what we, our scope here.
Mm-hmm.
But we are unabashed geeks for this type of stuff.
Look.
We are. Now, I'm curious, though,
mm-hmm.
because I know that this is something that you, I believe, have mentioned you're looking forward to.
Okay.
What did you think of the trailer for Netflix Sandman?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's funny you should say that. I actually looked at the clip earlier today that introduces death.
Mm-hmm.
And just in full disclosure, I had I run hot and cold with Sandman. Like we were talking about these great series, and I think Sandman is wildly overrated.
Okay.
I think it's all right. Like it's, I reread this is nice when they announced it, but I am team Kirby Howell Baptiste all day. And she's playing Death. And I saw the clip where they introduced Death from, I think it's like the 4th or 5th issue. And it's very much goes along with the comic.
Okay.
And so, I'm looking forward to it.
You're looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to it. Did you watch it? Are you going to watch Sandman?
I probably will watch it in the beginning. Mm-hmm. I don't have the cultural significance with Sandman. I never read it. It doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
But people cape for it. So I'm like,
yeah.
So I'll probably watch a couple of it. And if I get, hooked, I'll continue. If not, I'll be like, I'll be fine.
Well, I respect, Sandman was maybe the first one of that wave of prestige series that brought in other people to comic shops. Like I remember it was like, maybe Love and Rockets.
But you're going back a way bit with Love and Rockets. But
but you remember like it was that moment where you went to the comic shop and it was like people in the shop who weren't usually in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And like they were looking for Sandman, and then that kind of opened that whole wave of kind of fantasy horror kind of, and I like Neil Gaiman. Like just as a guy, I like him a lot. But like I'm never yelling at anybody over Sandman.
I feel you.
It's not bad.
The funny thing is that of all the trailers that came out outside of Black Panther, which of course we all have a vested interest in.
Oh my goodness.
And there were a ton of trailers that came out.
Yeah.
And some of them were okay. Some of them was like, all right, more of the same.
Yeah.
But the one that actually I was surprised.
Okay.
That I actually found this trailer to be a joy.
Okay.
And I cannot wait to see the movie.
All right, Lynn, first in line.
Is the trailer for Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. That's Lynn's jam.
It looked funny.
It looked sure.
The special effects looked great.
Yeah.
It looked adventurous. It looked like it's kind of like, it definitely mimics like the story of the game, but it mimics a little bit of the story of the cult classic cartoon series.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Chris Pine is one of my favorite actors.
I know you like Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, like I've yet to see him do anything, and I'm like,
I know.
Like he's not bad. He's good and everything.
Know. It's got carved out on one of the trees outside. It says Lynn Hart, Chris Pine.
It does.
Yeah.
It says Webb and Pine.
Yeah.
But so I really was surprised about how much I enjoyed that.
Well, I am glad you enjoyed it so much.
Obviously not you.
I mean, it's all right.
And the other one that really struck me was at how good it looked.
Okay.
Was the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power.
The money that they have thrown at this thing.
Now, yes, they have thrown
is obscene.
They have thrown 3 years worth of Amazon like Prime packages.
It is pornographic how much money
they
have spent on this. It really is.
But the money is on the screen.
Yeah.
It looks absolutely beautiful. And I was surprised because they threw maybe not quite as much money, but they threw a ton of money at Wheel in Time.
They did.
And that looks like shit.
Well, I wouldn't know because I've never watched one moment.
I watched the first 2 episodes and I'm like, why does this look like the best fan film I've ever seen?
Yeah.
It looked like shit.
Yeah. Well, look.
But this absolutely looks good.
Look. People, I mean, you say this about Wheel of Time too. I was about to say people been writing and doing and planning this Lord of the Rings things for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And by 50 years, longer than that. But yeah, Ring of Time it's I mean, it's Wheel of Time people too, but yeah, like, it just doesn't seem to
they didn't connect. But the Lord of the Rings looks great.
Looks good.
It
looks good.
And I'm just surprised by that.
You know, I'm in.
I'm gonna check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out.
All right.
We
also, Vince,
wasn't trailer talk. That was talk about trailers. That's a whole different part of the show. Different part of the show.
Totally different thing. We also have a voicemail.
Okay.
Turn of the voicemail. So for our voicemails, we got to put on our headphones.
Got to put on the headphones for the voicemail. All right, here we go.
So we can hear it. And now let's play this voicemail. This person did not leave their name.
Okay, it's a mystery voicemail.
Mystery voicemail.
Okay.
Come in, please.
Hey, fellas. First time calling. I'm actually currently trying to make my way through all the episodes from number 1, only at like 150. But I saw Nope last night, and it was dope. Intrigued to hear your thoughts. And there was a part where Daniel Kaluuya was talking to Stephen Yeun about getting the horses back. And in the background, there's a poster for Buck and the Preacher, a Sidney Poitier joint. Interested to hear y'all's thoughts about the connection between those movies, because you know Jordan Peele ain't doing nothing without intention, you know, nothing like that at least. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Much love.
All right.
Thank you.
And I do remember now, you know, we actually saw Nope.
We saw Nope
last
week. We did.
Nope, which starring Jordan Peele, written and directed by Jordan Peele, starring Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer, is in theaters and IMAX now.
Yes, sir.
$41 million opening weekend.
Yes,
number one film of the weekend.
Yeah. Number one opening R-rated film, original R-rated film since Us.
Oh, really? I didn't even read that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
God bless.
Yeah.
Jordan doing good things. Before we talk about our thoughts about the film in general, do you remember the scene that he's talking about where the poster of Buck and the Preacher was in the background?
I do remember that scene. It was another poster too that I couldn't quite make out.
I couldn't make out that other poster.
Yeah, but I'm positive it was a black cowboy movie.
Jordan Peele actually answered that question in regards to the poster of Buck and the Preacher. He says that it was the first film that I knew of that had black cowboys represented in it. The myth that cowboys were just white guys running around is just not true, but we don't know that because of Hollywood and the romanticized view of a very brutalized era. The film shares a similar spirit.
Right.
So that's the reason why he featured the poster.
Sure.
Of Buck and the Preacher.
Sure.
Very prominently.
Sure.
So what are your thoughts on Nope?
What are your thoughts on Nope?
I thought, well, first of all, we both saw the film and we saw it in IMAX.
Yes.
And Jordan Peele also mentioned in interviews about how he wanted to make this film a spectacle because he wanted to make a movie that was worth returning to the theaters for.
Okay.
And in doing so, I think he achieved. I think this is a film that I actually appreciated all the more watching it in IMAX, seeing it in IMAX because of the wide vistas that he does show. This film, while definitely, you know, has the the Jordan Peele, you know, hallmarks for tension and suspense, and things that go bump in the night and things that you don't expect to go bump in the night, bumping up in the night, scaring the red Jesus out of you. It also does, with its imagery, share a lot of language with Westerns. And I really really appreciated the marrying of those two, the supernatural, the sci-fi, because there's a sci-fi element of it too. Maybe. With the Western element. And I thought it was just sensational. And I thought all of the acting, a lot of people have been going on about the performance of Keke Palmer in this film, and rightfully so, to be fair. I think she is kills it. But Daniel Kaluuya, stand up as always. And Stephen Yeun is amazing. Who's a bit of a fake out. Yeah. And I won't go into it, but he's a bit of a fake out.
Can't really,
but then Brandon Pereira, who plays another kind of lead in there, Angel. Yeah. He's great in this film as well. Yeah. I thought the film was really, really cool, really smart.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll start with the IMAX. I think you're absolutely right. This is the first film I have seen in a very long time that I think you absolutely not only need to see it in the theater, but you need to see it in IMAX. Yeah. To really get the full effect of it. I think this is a film, and it's funny because when we were talking earlier about how we were going to talk about this, and we said no spoilers. It's a film that it's about exactly what you think it's about, but it's also completely different than what you think it's about. And in my mind, that is the hallmark of one of these great films. It has that, like you said, it has the tension. It has, like, Jordan Peele at this point is completely confident in putting together a scene. Right. And there are set pieces in this film that I think are absolutely perfect and pristinely constructed. And part of the way that you know that they're perfect is that now I know exactly what's going on in the movie. I know the entire plot, but I can already tell, like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like Jaws, like Poltergeist, like these films, even a film that I think falls apart at the end, but has great pieces, Signs. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can tell that these scenes are going to hold up as scenes. The other thing that I love about this movie, and it has a lot in common with the films that I just named. Like, people talk about this being in this Steven Spielbergian tradition. I think of Jordan Peele's 3 films, this is the film that can be as deep as you want it to be, but you can enjoy it as pure spectacle.
It's pure, just popcorn spectacle.
Pure spectacle. Yep. And I appreciated that. Like, I really appreciated Jordan, and Jordan Peele talked about that. Like you said, you wanted to make a film that you could see in IMAX, but he also said he wanted to make a summer movie. And I think this is a great summer movie. Now, when we can actually talk about it, I think there's a lot to talk about in this film. Oh, yeah. Like a lot to talk about in this film. But you don't have to do that to enjoy it. No. You don't have to do that to enjoy it. Like you said, Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer is an American treasure. And I'm so happy that people are putting their eyes on Keke Palmer. I think Daniel Kaluuya had a tough job because his character was much more stoic. Yeah. And a man of few words, but I think he did great. Much like you, I think Stephen Yeun's performance is so subtle. Yep. and so sort of understated.
Mhm.
And there's so much going on. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Nope a great deal.
So did I.
And highly recommend it. And I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah. It's a smart film, and I hope everybody look forward to everybody seeing it, and so that we can really talk more openly about it. I'm looking forward to when we do our official review of it.
Absolutely.
We really get in there, get into the meats of it. I love the it's just a daring film. I love films that dare you. They dare you to just, it doesn't leave it plays fair with the audience, but it doesn't hold your hand either.
Well,
I love that.
And again, it's almost like the best Hitchcock, where in my mind, I'm not a fan of the jump scare. Like in my mind, the jump scare is like the fart joke of horror movies and thrillers. Like anyone can kind of go, I surprised you and scared you. But to build a scene, whereas the viewer, you know what's happening, but the tension and the music cues and the pacing, you still are able to hold that tone. And then there are moments where the tone changes mid-scene.
Yep.
Like I was just really, really impressed with Jordan Peele's mastery of filmmaking at this point, frankly.
It feel it really, I had to step back a little bit. Doesn't it feel like he's done more than 3 films? This is his third film.
This is his third film. And my God, the 3 films he's made.
Right?
Like I keep telling people, no, this isn't as good as Get Out. But Get Out was perfect. Like Get Out is actually perfect. I think Us is a little messier.
Yeah, Us is messier.
But I go to Us more than I do a lot of films. Like I spend a lot of time with Us. And much like this, I think Us, you really do see this control of the tone and the scene and the set piece. Again, you can only be surprised once.
Right.
Like I've seen Us 4 or 5 times at this point. I know every plot point. When that family comes in the first time, the tethered family comes in and Red sits cross-legged, crisscross applesauce in the chair and starts to tell the story, I'm like holding my breath.
Yep.
So yeah, it does seem like he's and I'm already looking forward to the 4th film that he makes.
Me too.
So yeah.
All right, so that's our thoughts on Nope.
Yep.
All right.
It
is time for the top 5.
All right.
Top 5.
All right, top 5, ladies and gentlemen. My top 5 this week is in relations to our film that we are reviewing, Change of Mind from 1969, which dealt with a white man's brain being placed into a black body.
Ooh.
I looked at the many times where race has been swapped in movies from the source material.
Okay.
And to come up with the top 5 race swap in movies.
Okay.
And this is my top 5.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And there's bound to be a bunch of others. And I stuck with mostly with, well, you'll see where I'm going.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So top 5 race swap in movies.
Okay.
Starting with number 5.
Number 5,
which we actually mentioned earlier in the show, is Jason Momoa and Aquaman.
Yes.
Because that is a race switch.
Yes, it is.
Aquaman has been historically shown as a white man, a blonde.
I'm about to say
man.
Aryan even.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blonde hair, blue eyed.
But Jason Momoa, decidedly not a white man.
He is not.
A Polynesian descent, and when cast as Aquaman. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Jason Momoa as an actor.
Sure.
But you can't knock the man's physical presence.
No.
And when they cast him as Aquaman, I was like, okay, I don't know if I see him as Aquaman. Not because I wanted a blonde Aryan guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want some German guy in there, but right. I just didn't know if I saw Jason Momoa.
Right.
To his credit, the Aquaman that they have created for the DC cinematic universe, you know, is in line with Jason Momoa's gifts.
Well, the secret is they turned Aquaman into Jason Momoa.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah, I think Jason Momoa is very, very good at being Jason Momoa. So, yeah.
So well done on them.
Well done on them.
So, and like I said, you know, say what you want. The movie made $1 billion.
It's not a bad movie.
Okay, I'm not a huge fan of the film myself.
It's all right.
I thought it was, I thought it was a little messy. But that's me. That's me. What are you gonna do?
You know, they were talking about making a Yahya Abdul-Mateen Black Manta movie secretly. That's what the plan was. But then DC, of course, put out one of them dogs that they put out.
Yeah,
and that didn't happen. Yeah, but I really like Black Manta.
Okay. Number 4. Harvey Dent, Billy D. Williams in Batman.
Yeah.
Now that's a good one because Harvey Dent, historically, the character was shown as a white guy in the comics. When Billy D. Williams was cast for 1989's Batman, he looked forward to being Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
And eventually turning into the villain Two-Face.
Mm-hmm.
And so much so that he had it written into his contract that that's what he would do. In fact, they actually had to pay him off.
Yes. In
order for Tommy Lee Jones down the line to play Two-Face.
Right.
In one of the Joel Schumacher sequels. But again, I like Billy D. Williams. I don't think he's the world's he's not going to win Thespian of the Year anytime.
Mm-hmm.
But the heartthrob, that sex symbol that Billy D. Williams was, plus with in 1989, he's starting to age a little bit and age into that character actor type of vibe. I thought that him being cast as Harvey Dent, you know what? I can work with this. And I would be interested to see what he did with Two-Face, because I thought that would have been an opportunity for him to show a side that he hadn't been given in other films. So I thought that the casting of him as Harvey Dent was actually inspired, and I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Can we get a little geeky? Can we get a little, just a touch geeky? Tim Burton talked about he wanted a black person to play Harvey Dent because he said when Two-Face came about, he said he wanted to use Two-Face to examine race. So Tim Burton actually had very specific reasons for trading race. And speaking of paying off people who never were actually in Batman, you know where I'm going with this, right?
I think I do. Well, go ahead.
Marlon Wayans,
yes,
famously was going to be cast as Robin. And it didn't fall through, but it got really far.
Yeah.
Like he got outfitted for an costume. That actual first wave of Batman the Animated Series action figures, the first wave, Robin is black because Batman the Animated Series was going to be based on Robin in Batman Returns.
Right.
And when that fell through, they had to pay Marlon Wayans. So Marlon Wayans was paid to be in a Batman film that he was never actually in.
So, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so there you go.
And it's interesting that Harvey Dent, Billy Dee Williams casting as Harvey Dent, led to, speaking of the Batman animated series, when they created their version of Harvey Dent, they were a little ambiguous about his race.
That's right.
In the animated series.
That's
you
right.
know, you could look at him and you could kind of see him as, you know, you definitely saw, like, you know, he had got a little mix.
He was a little swarthy.
Yeah, in there. They were very ambiguous about that.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
So there you go. There's your Batman, your Tim Burton Batman lore.
There you go. All right. Tune in next week for when we talk about Superman Lives. And no, we won't. We won't. Number three is the Kingpin, talking about Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, oh yeah.
In the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
Yes.
Of which the less said, the better. However, Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin is not the problem with that film.
I've never actually seen it.
You've never seen that movie?
I've never seen Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
Well, consider yourself lucky.
I no, that wasn't lucky. That was very deliberate.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not doing that.
It's not a fun night at the theater.
Now, is Jennifer Garner in that? That's she's in as Elektra.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the worst castings.
Since Ben Affleck is Daredevil.
Well, here's the thing. Ben Affleck as Daredevil is not bad. I don't think that he necessarily pulls it off. But at that time in his career, it's not bad casting. The real biggest problem of that film is the script and the direction.
The script,
is not that,
the direction, the acting, the costumes.
Okay. Ben Affleck is not a great actor, so he's not doing that great a work.
And I think he's gotten better as he's gotten older.
Yeah,
like I like older Ben Affleck.
Jennifer Garner, I like her. I've never liked her acting. Yeah. Colin Farrell, he's having fun.
Oh my God, Colin Farrell's in it
because he's Bullseye. Yeah, he's Bullseye, and he's having fun in the film, but it's a bad film. So he's just having fun in a bad film. And Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin, he fits the stature.
I mean, he's a big dude.
He's a big dude. He's definitely got the silhouette down. I don't think the script knows how to write the Kingpin that was in the comics. It was right there for you.
Look, man.
It just went afoul and just went very generic with it. And Michael Clark Duncan, who I always like, I don't think he either is going to win Thespian, to win Thespian of the Year anytime. Rest in peace, Mr. Duncan. But he's still what he was given, he pulled it off, because smartly they don't give him a lot to say or do. It's all about him just being big and massive. And now Vincent D'Onofrio in the TV show.
Oh, well, I mean, come on,
crushes it.
Come on,
and if nobody ever remembers Michael Clark Duncan, it's fine. But Michael Clark Duncan, black man, Kingpin, historically white man.
Yes,
and I don't think it missed a beat.
No,
and maybe it becomes more of a thing if the movie was bad, but it's whatever. Number two. I bet most people are not going to see this one coming.
It's like the Spanish Inquisition.
This is Whistler, played by Chris Christopherson from the Blade trilogy. Because a lot of people don't know that Whistler in the comics, Abraham Whistler, was a black guy.
I'm learning that at this exact second. He
was actually black in the comics. The role was the same. He was the absolute same, and his relationship with Blade was pretty much the same, maybe a little bit more defined in the movies because they tend to do that. But in the comics, he was a black man, and in the movies, they changed it over to Chris Christopherson because they just wanted to give it a little bit more. So that would give it a little bit more gravitas, and also let's face it, maybe to sell the movie a little bit more. Not that Wesley Snipes couldn't sell it, but and I don't think it misses a beat.
I didn't know Whistler was in the comics.
Yeah, I mean, he's not.
Is he
He's
in like
not
Tomb of Dracula.
He's not as prominent in the comics. I think he's in the Tomb of Dracula, and he shows up in a couple of other, because like Blade never really got like his own comic.
Right.
You know, so he shows up in the panels of a couple of other of his appearances.
Interesting.
Yeah, but he was a black guy. And I think nobody misses you don't miss a beat because, like I said, like you said, you're a huge comic book guy. You didn't even know.
You know what? Tomb of Dracula is a big hole in my reading because it's licensed.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's been very sporadic how it's been reprinted.
Right.
So
right.
I've never actually read it.
It reads pretty. I mean, dated.
Yeah,
but for its time, it was pretty good. I wasn't a huge Tomb of Dracula friend, but my friend, I had a friend named Fred who lives in. He's the one that actually introduced me to Marvel Comics.
Okay,
and he was a huge Tomb of Dracula guy.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, when you sit and read comics, I would just like, all right, let me read a couple of Tomb of Draculas, and they were interesting. They were pretty cool.
That's
Gene Colan's art,
and that's what Marv Wolfman.
Yeah, great stuff.
I mean, that's a good. Yeah, like you said, the art is iconic.
Yeah,
so,
great stuff.
All right. Go and try and dig up some Tomb of Dracula.
There you go. And now number one, and this is in the movies, and this, look, this is a low hanging fruit right here.
Okay.
And that's Nick Fury,
of course.
Samuel L. Jackson,
of course.
from the originally first shows up in Iron Man in 2008, but of course he's all across the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For those that don't know, the character of Nick Fury was historically a curmudgeoned old white guy, from World War II, who somehow gets like a secret sauce and kind of like comes young again or some shit. And then runs SHIELD. Marvel, when they started their Ultimate Universe in the early aughts, they did that.
Early aughts.
They started their Ultimate Universe. Mark Miller and the artist Brian Hitch.
Yep.
They just chose, because they wanted to be different, to cast in this new universe, quote unquote, their Nick Fury in the imagery of Samuel L. Jackson.
Right, because like all of Hitch's art basically was kind of photorealistic, and they used actors. As the models for each of the characters.
Not for all of them, but for more than a few.
For like 90% of them.
Well,
like when you look at those first 5-6 Ultimates, they all kind of match up. It's like it's like Lucy Liu and
who's Lucy Liu in
the Wasp?
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's very much Lucy Liu.
Oh,
they actually have a meta moment in this 8th or 9th issue where they talk about, if we had a movie, who would play us? And that's when Nick Fury says, I'd want, of course, Samuel Jackson. Now, the other part of that is that Nick Fury was the second choice to be somebody black. They wanted Captain America to be black in the Ultimate Universe.
I didn't know that.
And then that got shot down.
Of course.
Because they said, and this is what came up later with Elijah Bradley. Mark Miller said it actually makes sense that if they were experimenting on people with that super soldier formula, they would have started with black soldiers.
Yep.
So he wanted Captain America to be black, and Marvel was like, nah. And then he was like, well, how about Nick Fury? And they said, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so there you go.
So there you go.
Give me a chance to be a little nerdy with that too.
You're very welcome. All right, so that is my top 5 race swaps.
All right.
In movies. Thank you very much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. And now we will get to the moment everybody has been waiting for.
Game of Kings.
The Game of Kings. That's the key. Oops, there we go. Series of D'Urville Martin, ladies and gentlemen, where Vincent will attempt to get from 70s superstar D'Urville Martin to an actor of my choice. Now, in honor of our film Change of Mind, starring the great Raymond St Jacque,
one of our favorites,
I have 2 Raymonds for you to choose from.
2 Raymonds to choose from.
Yes, Vincent.
Okay.
All right. Do you want Raymond number 1 or do you want Raymond number 2?
Of course, I start with Raymond number 1.
All right. Raymond number 1.
Okay.
Get from D'Urville Martin.
To Raymond Burr. Yes.
Famously of Perry Mason and Ironside fame on television.
Right. But he was in movies.
Quite a few movies.
In movies, and I gotta think of a movie he was in besides Godzilla.
He was in Godzilla.
Raymond Burr. What the hell was Raymond Burr in? So he didn't go right to TV.
No, he did not. He had a pretty good career in films.
Right.
He wasn't a leading man.
No. Right.
He wasn't.
What was Raymond Burr in?
I think his only leading man role was Godzilla.
Yes, exactly.
And that was the remake.
They spliced. No. Remember, they spliced them in.
Well, no, but I'm saying it's the remake. It's the remake of Gajira.
Well, I mean, not a remake. Well, but, they cut it up.
Okay. I mean, there was a movie first, and then they.
Oh my God.
Now I chose 2 guys who, just working through my head, okay, could I do this real easily to get to these guys? And I could.
Is he in something that I would have known that he was in?
I think you've seen it.
What's Raymond Burr in that you think I would have seen?
Well, that'll give it away.
Oh, for God. Dude, it's Raymond Burr. Nobody knows anything about Raymond Burr except Ironside.
Well, that ain't
and Perry Mason. Yeah.
I don't think people really remember Ironside.
I loved Ironside.
What?
I loved Ironside. He got shot in the opening credits. But then he still fought crime.
Yeah,
from a wheelchair.
From his wheelchair. I never saw Ironside.
It was exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
The credits were the best part, but the credits were fantastic. They shot his ass in the opening credits. And he said, I'm still going to fight crime from the wheelchair. What in the world was Raymond Burr in? Besides Godzilla.
Okay. Let me go to the filmography.
Because I was trying to figure out, was it somebody in Godzilla that I knew?
The filmography of Raymond
Burr. Raymond Burr. Do you know any films he was in off the top of your head?
I do.
Off the top of your head?
Yes, that's why I said I could get to him easily. But if I gave it to you, it's too easy a movie.
What movie was he in
too easy,
that you knew?
He was in, there's a film that he was in that you're never going to get. He was in The Blue Gardenia. You're never going to get. But that's not the film. I can't. Are you giving up, or you want me to give you?
You don't have to give me that film. Give me another film.
All right.
What's the last film he was in? You got to start. What the hell? Go ahead.
No, I'll give you.
What's the last film he was in?
I'm gonna give you the film that's going to give it away.
What?
All right. He was in Rear Window.
Where was Raymond Burr in Rear Window?
He's in Rear Window.
Who does he play in Rear Window?
Do you really want me to tell you that?
Who he played?
Yes.
Yes.
You really want me to tell you who he plays?
Who did he play in Rear Window?
He plays the bad guy in Rear Window.
Is that Raymond Burr?
Yes. Yes. So can't say it's not a prominent role.
I don't remember him in Rear Window at all.
He's the bad guy.
All right.
Now, mind you, his hair is whitened because he plays older.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But that's him.
All right.
You've seen Rear Window.
No. Oh, absolutely. You've actually blown my mind that Raymond Burr was in Rear Window.
He's the guy that they're looking at.
Yeah.
Does
he have any lines?
I don't think he actually even says anything.
I was about to say, because you're saying the bad guy in Rear Window.
You hear him on the phone. You hear him on the phone talking to, and then he comes and confronts him, and I think he may have a couple of lines there. For the most part, he doesn't have a lot of lines.
I'm gonna take your word for it, he's in it, but damn, he's barely in it.
No, he's not barely in it. He's the bad guy.
I mean, you're saying he's the bad guy, but as we just said, he doesn't have any lines. You know,
but he's the whole plot.
No, I didn't say he wasn't the whole plot. All right, what's my Jimmy Stewart cowboy movie? Shit, what's his cowboy movie?
You're making it hard on yourself.
I'm not, because I don't know anything Jimmy Stewart is in, except it's like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and I don't remember who else is in that. Obviously, It's a Good Life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know anybody in that. I mean, I know them, but I don't know who they are.
Aaron Fry said, for crying out loud, Rear Window.
And then, what's my cowboy movie?
Which one?
Where he plays the bad guy.
Jimmy Stewart?
Yeah.
I don't know a movie where he plays a bad guy. Are you thinking of Jimmy Stewart, or are you thinking of Henry Fonda?
No, I'm thinking of Jimmy Stewart. Because Jimmy Stewart plays a heavy.
In a Western?
Pretty sure he does.
Oh. I mean, he's wrongfully accused in Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
See, I thought you were thinking about Henry Fonda, who plays against type in Once Upon a Time in the West.
No, I know that, but that's not Jimmy Stewart. And Jimmy Stewart's in the Rear Window. Yeah, I don't know. Who else? What else? What's easier?
Well, he's in. Well, I'm not going to give away the easy route, but he's in other Hitchcock movies.
Who? Raymond Burr?
No, but I'm saying Jimmy Stewart. So maybe other Hitchcock movies. If you think of those movies.
Wait. So is Jimmy Stewart in? He's in Rear Window. He's in. What else is he in with what are the Hitchcock movies Jimmy Stewart in?
He's in Rope. He's in
Rope is your jam. I always forget about
he's
Rope.
In Vertigo.
Oh, that is Jimmy Stewart. And that's with what's her name? Is in Vertigo.
That is I want to pull her name because she's so freaking gorgeous. I gotta look it up. I hate that. I have to look it up. Vertigo stars Jimmy Stewart. Of course, give me the definition of the thing. Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak.
Right. Oh, I know somebody who's Jimmy's. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even feel like.
All right. You want me to show you how to go?
Yeah. Show me how to go.
How to go? I'll show you how to go.
Uh-huh.
Derville Martin
Uh-huh.
was in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Katharine Hepburn.
Yes.
Who was with Jimmy Stewart in the Philadelphia Story.
And wait. I thought that was
It's also Cary Grant.
I'm about to say it's Cary Grant. Jimmy
Grant.
Stewart is in the Philadelphia Story?
Yes, he's the other guy.
Oh, for Christ's sake. How big is his role in the Philadelphia Story?
He's like the third lead in the film.
I always think of Cary Grant. Cary Grant in the Philadelphia Story. Well,
right.
Okay, well, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, yes. Katharine Hepburn, Jimmy Stewart, Raymond Burr.
There you go.
Yes.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Next.
Uh-huh.
Next, Raymond.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy. This one's good. You're never
Go ahead.
Get from Derville Martin
to who?
To Ray Walston of my favorite Martian fame.
Come on, man. Come on, Lynn. Stop. No, I let the Raymond Burr thing slide. You guys stop using these dumbass actors who made their bones on TV. Come on, stop. You about he was in a million movies. Stop. Don't nobody know nothing about Ray Walston in anything but My Favorite Martian.
Yes.
And wait, was that him in Lost in Space?
No.
That's what's his name in Lost? Stop.
No.
Stop.
That's Jonathan Harris.
Right, stop. Yes, I don't know anything that the dude who was in the sitcom in 1960, which is why everybody on Earth knows him, what movies he made before he started making that My Favorite Martian money.
All right, can I tell you how you can get to Ray
I
Walston?
mean, if I had Google, I can get to him too.
I didn't use Google.
What was he in that you knew?
The Apartment.
The Apartment?
Yes.
The Neil, is that the Neil Simon play?
I don't think Neil Simon. No, that's Billy Wilder directed. I don't think it's Neil Simon.
What year is this?
It's 1950 something.
Shut the fuck up with this. Come on, man. Stop. Stop.
What? Vince, you did Shirley Temple once. I don't think it's unfair.
Shirley Temple's whole career, she was surrounded by black people.
Okay.
And she's actually an icon in the movies.
Okay.
Was he the star of The Apartment? Exactly. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Well, Darvell Martin wasn't the star of anything.
No, nope. I reject Ray Walston. I really reject. Well, I'm sure you can. Yeah, I reject Raymond Burr too. No. Who else is in The Apartment with Ray Walston?
Jack Lemmon.
Oh, right. Well, there you go. Yes.
Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah.
Fred McMurray.
I don't think I could use Fred McMurray, but because again, Fred McMurray was actually did some movie stuff, but he's my Three Sons guy.
Yeah, but he was
Stop.
He was a big movie guy.
Stop.
He was a big.
Did Fred McMurray ever star in a film? Like, was he ever above the credits?
Yes, Double Indemnity with Barbara Stanwyck.
Yes, I was about to say that's Barbara Stanwyck,
and he's right there above the credits.
God's sake. Okay, all right.
And then for what you may not think of anything of it, but his is above the credit in The Absent-Minded Professor.
Oh, I always forget about his Disney. And that's not Disney, but it's
Disney.
Is that Disney?
Yeah.
That's actually a good one. Although that was post My Three Sons.
It was kind of like
right.
So he was
in that weird phase of his career. Yeah. Can we do something where like Negroes could see it? Like, can we do something that Negroes could see and we didn't have to sit in the balcony?
Negroes could see The Apartment
as long as they sat in the balcony. I demand someone who wasn't a star during segregation. Is that too much to ask? Like somebody, my father was in 14, sitting in the balcony throwing popcorn on the white people beneath him.
And Robert Monroe Jr. is correcting me. The Apartment was actually 1960.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It wasn't in the 50s. So it's Jack Lemmon. So
yes.
So I'm giving you Jack Lemmon.
Yes,
right there.
Yes. Yeah. Sidney Poitier.
Darvell Martin was in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier, who was in The Defiant Ones with Tony Curtis, who was in Something Like Hot with
Jack Lemmon,
who was in The Apartment.
The Apartment with Ray Walston, which everyone, when they think about Ray Walston, Ray Walston from The Apartment.
He's good in The Apartment.
I didn't say he was good, but nobody knows about that.
There's not a lot of famous Raymonds.
Yeah. You could have done Ray Liotta. You could have done.
I don't think he's Raymond.
Certainly he's Raymond.
I think he's Ray. I don't think he's Raymond.
Oh, his birth name is not Ray. Nobody named their child Ray.
I think he's Italian. Why couldn't
You
they?
could have done Raymond. Who's everybody loves Raymond?
Oh, his name is Raymond.
Mhm.
But that would have been too easy.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta would have been too easy.
Yeah. All right.
Like, do Ray Liotta. Make yourself feel good. Do Ray
No,
Liotta.
no. I'm actually protesting this week. Ray Walston and Raymond Burr. Let's do the movie.
Let's get into our review. That was epic. I love that. That was a joy. Let's get into our review of Change of Mind. But first, it's time for trailer talk, where we talk about stuff that won't make it to the show.
That's right.
We're going to cut out. People are going off in the chat. Let's see, what are they talking about? Ray Walston was on Star Trek: The Next Generation. True, not a movie.
Was he?
Yeah, he played like the gardener guy at Starfleet Academy.
Right. That was a great episode.
Was it Digby or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Aaron Fry. See, they're movie buffs, missionaries.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Jimmy Stewart played the bad guy in the second Thin Man movie. He did, and he actually was trying to go against type in that, and it doesn't work.
I thought he was a cowboy movie.
Right? They're not throwing a
like
cowboy
I see
movie.
him grizzled, like a little older.
See that
in a cowboy movie.
See, I seem to. I want to think you're thinking the man who shot Liberty Valance.
No, because you're right.
He's older,
but that's Henry Fonda, like you said.
No, Henry Fonda is Once Upon a Time in the West.
I'm sorry. Right. I see what you're saying. I could have swore he played,
because they even put that out here in the chat that maybe you're thinking about Liberty Valance.
Because is he grizzled? He's not grizzled.
Well, I mean, he's older.
No, he's a little older.
A little, like, rough around the edges in the film, as far as like, he's not like well kept.
Right.
Trying to show more of a more earthy Western, as it were, or whatever. You looking through his filmography?
Just trying to really quickly, but I forgot he was in Harvey, which
I love Harvey.
Oh, Harvey is fantastic.
You like Harvey?
I do.
It's not another one of those old ass movies.
No. It's not some random old ass movie. Harvey is great.
Harvey is absolutely. I introduced my lady to Harvey. She had never seen it, and she actually liked it.
Oh, Harvey is great. I'm glad
she enjoyed it. I'm going to make her watch the beginning of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World tonight.
Okay.
And she'll never make it. I know it, but we're going to watch the beginning of it. You find the movie you're looking for?
It might be The Far Country.
The Far Country? I don't even know that film. I tend not to watch a lot of the older Westerns anymore.
Yeah. But I mean, but I'm not sure. I'll figure it out. All right. You ready?
Not worth wasting time on.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into our review.
All right.
Ready when you are.
Right, let me just pull it up. Change of Mind, a 1969 science fiction film starring Raymond St Jacque. As a married couple struggles to adjust when the husband, the white husband, dying of cancer, has his brain transplanted into the body of a black man. David Rowe, the white district attorney, must now also deal with a high-profile case against a racist sheriff accused of the murder of a black woman. Directed by Robert Stevens, with a script written by Selig Lester and Dick Wesson. Besides its star Raymond St Jacque, it also features performances by Susan Oliver, Janet McLaughlin, and Leslie Nielsen.
Mm-hmm.
In the 1969 Change of Mind, the film chosen by Lynn Webb. Lynn, what'd you think of Change of Mind?
Well, the first thing I will say that I thought of Change of Mind is that this was not anything that I expected.
Okay.
From the very beginning of the film, and I mean the absolute very beginning of the opening credits of this film, where you see this rolling ball, like just rolling through this whole like maze of, they're not like dominoes or anything, but they're like panels and walls or anything like that. That very stylized opening credits with music by Duke Ellington and his orchestra. And boy, I want to tell you, Duke Ellington and his orchestra in 1969, they are bringing the heat.
Yes, they are.
Because that music just took me. I literally stopped and rewound the film back to the beginning because I just wanted to hear that music again, because it was banging, it was popping, it was crisp. It set you up for okay, this might be something kind of interesting that's happening here, because this is some good stuff. It's really setting you up, because on its face, the premise of the film, a white man's brain put into a black body, it sounds like the stuff of science fiction. It sounds like the stuff of horror. It sounds like the stuff, even though this is 1969, it very much sounds like the stuff of what would soon become the quote unquote blaxploitation era. It actually is a premise that could lead you really left field.
Yes.
And set you up for, oh my God, is this the precursor to The Man with Two Heads? Yeah, like you do not know. Especially because Raymond St Jacque cast in this film, this is still fairly early in his career. Anyone who knows the man and you look at the man, he comes across as a very thoughtful, intense, meaningful type of individual, as well as actor. But very early in his career, you don't know which way he's going to lean. So when him being cast in this film is not necessarily a recipe for, something deep. It just means like he's the black guy that won the role, right? But the music sets you up that this is going to be something deep. And then the film opens up. And the film opens up with a voiceover treating like you are in media res when you open up into this film, because you're already in the midst of the operation. The operation is happening. And there is a white attorney who, I think he's like the attorney general or the district attorney. He's a district attorney, I think, of the city.
Raymond St Jacque's character.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
He's the DA.
Right. He's the DA who is having his brain transplanted into a black body. Outside of a quick flashback much later in the film, you're never introduced to this guy. You are not asked to invest any level of empathy or sympathy or motion or thought towards this white man who you learn was dying of cancer, you're not meant to feel anything for him, because as far as the movie is concerned, this man is going to live on in the body of Raymond St Jacque,
right?
Who his character was a black man who unfortunately passed away, and then his body just becomes fodder for them to do this transplant. You're not given any type of history of of why him, how is he selected? You know, it almost begs the question, like, yo, did they just like grip up our man like as soon as he like died and said, yo, cut his brains out?
Yeah.
And that's real. The movie doesn't spend any time interrogating that question, but it's definitely a question that is there.
Right. The film isn't interested in the lead up.
It is not interested in the lead up at all. It is not interested in the men that become the David Rowe that we are introduced to. So it's not really interested in the original David Rowe, and it's not interested in the black man who gave up his body.
Right.
It's interested in the amalgamation of David Rowe that this brain in this black body becomes, and how the two individual worlds that these men walk in deal with this phenomenon, deal with this new creation that is walking the streets. And specifically, the film deals with how both men's wives deal with the situation. How do they feel about this? And through some more serious investigation on the side of Margaret Rowe, the white wife of the district attorney, Margaret Rowe, played by Susan Oliver. She is definitely given more of the storyline. You're introduced to her in the hospital, waiting, hoping that her husband is going to survive this very intense operation, and then working through nursing him back to health as he has to adjust to his new body, all the time, foregoing her own feelings of what she has to deal with, this new man that is presented before her as quote unquote her husband, because his brain is inside this new body, but she puts it out there on the table. When I look at you, I don't see the face that I fell in love with.
Right.
I know the man is there. I know the brain is there. So I know you have the memories. I know you have memories of loving me. You have memories that me and you shared. But I didn't share those memories with this face. I didn't share those memories with this body. I didn't share my bed with this body. I didn't share this life with this body, right? So, that's an adjustment for me. Conversely, on the other side, as David Rowe is trying to adjust to his life and realizing, I should just be the same old district attorney. No, you ain't, because you don't look the same. And nobody's going to treat you the same, because now you are a black face. Now you are a black man. And now you have to deal with some of the racism, large and subtle, that black people have had to deal with their entire life, the microaggressions that are just a part of daily life that you have to deal with. So he's taking that on for the first time, but in an interesting sideline or subplot to this movie, it asks the question, is the brain the person, or is the body the person? Because the brain is David Rowe, the district attorney. The body is this black man who gave his life. Well, whose life was, whose body was given to this experiment.
Right.
And that body has within it muscle memories, feelings of its own. It's interesting that this film made in 1969, as of late, there's been an investigation. There's been, proven that there is trauma that is passed on through the body, through ancestors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that trauma is in that black body. This actually kind of posits that question right there. So he actually is feeling that tug of war of, I feel like I maybe need to be with black people. I don't know. So he goes and visits his old wife.
Yeah.
And his wife, and seeing the body and the hand and the face and the body that I fell in love with. But she can tell from, even though it's still his same voice box,
right? She
can tell that the mind is not that man,
right?
And it's not quite the same. And I thought that was very interesting story for this movie to investigate. I thought that was it was not anything that I was expecting.
Okay.
In this film, I wasn't expecting it at all. I thought that it went deeper than I thought it would go. And I was really kind of like invested in it. I was invested in it primarily because as it kind of started branching out into that triangle of the David Rowe character, his wife, and the ex-wife of the black man, I was interested in whether or not the point of view was going to tilt a little bit more towards the women, to see to really investigate their feelings of how they're dealing with it. There's lip service given to it, but there's not really any true interrogation of that in this film. And I think that is also primarily because, one, this film, like come on, we know historically films were told from the male gaze.
Sure.
So it's about the man's point of view, the white man's point of view, in this standpoint, and how they're dealing with it. And in that, I think this film kind of like, it left me cold because it had me, and then it left me cold because the character really is dismissive, I feel, of the women's feelings.
Yes.
And I thought that was interesting, but I thought that was a harsh note for this film, especially because it more or less ends on that note. And I thought that was really harsh. And it ends on it as almost as if it's supposed to be like this hero moment for the guy. And I'm like, yo, that's kind of that's not cool. And then the other reason why it doesn't investigate it is because this film gets bogged down in the second half with this Law and Order racial justice episode.
Law and Order body switch.
Well, I don't know. Law and Order bigots on trial.
Yeah.
Where because now we have to investigate this murder of this black woman who you find out was the mistress of the white sheriff, who's a bit of a bigot, played by Leslie Nielsen. I guarantee, as you have never seen or heard him before, this is not the Leslie Nielsen of Airplane, ladies and gentlemen.
This is in second wave or second the second phase of his career.
No, this is Leslie Nielsen, working actor.
Yeah, I'm about to say character actor Leslie Nielsen. Yeah,
and he's got it. the script say I got to say certain things. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say them, and I'm an actor, so I'm gonna say them like I would say them.
Yeah.
And he does. But it gets bogged down in that storyline, so much so that it almost turns into like true TV. I mean, it is literally like almost like we spend, it feels like an entire hour in the courtroom.
Right. The actual courtroom.
The actual
trial.
courtroom.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And not even just like the lawyer playing lawyer. We visit every one of the witnesses.
Yeah.
We even visit the reporter talking about, now we're going to hear from another witness. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, y'all just lost all of the momentum of this movie.
Yeah.
And that is where this movie went left for me. Now, the law story, that legal issue is kind of interesting because the district attorney was a white guy, and putting the white bigot sheriff on the stand, he was ready to call him out, like he thought that he murdered this person.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert for a 50-year-old movie. But there's a little bait and switch here.
Mm-hmm.
But the real big bait and switch is that now the district attorney is in a black body, and the black body actually is working in the service of the white bigoted sheriff at the end of the film. And the juxtaposition of how the black people in the crowd, or in the assemblage, in the jury, in the courtroom, are going to feel about that is, it's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and it's again, lip service is given to it, but I don't think it really plays out. At the end of the day, I think there's a lot of interesting ideas in this film.
There it is.
But it doesn't have the full conviction to play them out to their fullest potential. And I think that's a letdown, because it's a smart film.
Mm-hmm.
Raymond St Jacque is a very smart actor, and I enjoyed him in this a great deal. He's the best thing in this film, and there's a couple of good actors. Mm-hmm. Susan Oliver's okay in the movie. Janet McLaughlin is a small role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and she's good. She's always credible. And Leslie Nielsen, for what he's asked to do, he's cool.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately those actors are let down by and I don't even think the direction is necessarily that bad. It gets a little stale in the courtroom because there's how many ways can you shoot a courtroom? But I think that ultimately the ideas and the script just let it down, because this had the chance to be really, really something special.
Yeah. An hour 34 minutes is where I'll start. This is a very short film.
Mm-hmm.
And for the ideas that this film wants to explore, it just isn't enough time.
Yeah.
With all of the choices being picture perfect. Then when you put in things like, as you said, the amount of time that's spent in the courtroom, that just eats up
more real estate.
More real estate where you could, because I agree with you. I think this is a film that was way more thoughtful than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like some of the choices that were made. I actually love the fact that they get past all of the preamble.
Yeah.
Oh, we need a body. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, the only body that's available is black. Oh, what does that mean? Like you said, the film starts in the surgery.
Yep.
So all of that has been taken care of before the film starts. This is a film that's really more interested in examining the repercussions of what happens with a surgery like this. I think this idea about what makes a person, their mind or their body, is an interesting one that in a theme that's going to go throughout this review. You get hints that there's something there. Like I joke, like there's a quick moment where he's out to dinner, and he wants his roast beef well done, even though previously he ate his roast beef rare, which, you know, speaks to the stereotype of Black people eating their meat well done. But still, the fact that they thought about it. There's a moment where someone makes a comment that he writes with his right hand, but the Black man who the body originally belonged to was left-handed.
Yes.
So there's all of that, this kind of thoughtfulness. And as you said, Raymond St Jacque is the perfect actor to play this role, because you see the subtlety in his performance throughout the film, where he is a little formal, a little stilted early in the film, and you just think that's Raymond St Jacque until you get in the last 10-15 minutes and he literally becomes more comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah.
And it comes across in his performance. I actually disagree with you outside of the fact that a lot of it just wasn't that developed. I actually admired how much the film let the two women in his life talk.
No, I did.
I liked how much his wife was able to articulate that what you are seeing as prejudice, because of course the superficial read is I'm uncomfortable being with a Black man. But she says it's not that, you're just not the husband I know.
You're right.
And I love the duality with Janet McLaughlin's character, where she says, you have my husband's hands, you have my husband's lips, you have his body, but when I look in your eyes, that's not my husband. So I liked, and I think you get more of their voice than you do in the overall superior version of this film, which would be The Watermelon Man.
Okay.
Where as much as I love the wife in The Watermelon Man, I don't think she had, like, there's a scene after Raymond St Jacque's character and his white wife have had an argument. But then there's another scene where she comes back and she has this monologue saying what I just said, that the wife in Watermelon Man never gets.
True.
As much as I dislike all of the actual courtroom drama, I thought it was really interesting, this space that this character inhabited, where he's now treated as a Black man. He now has to move as a Black man, but he just became a Black man,
right?
Which means that he knows where all the bodies are buried because he used to be a white man.
Yep.
So you trusted me with the fact that you have a 17-year-old mistress. You trusted me with the fact that you used to be a Grand Dragon in the Ku Klux Klan, but now I'm Black, and how I use that. But, you know, as you said,
that was interesting.
You know, as you said, you lose, you don't, that doesn't have room
to hit
and to develop.
Yeah.
Like both of these plots, like this really intimate character study between these three characters, this man and these two wives, that could have been the entire film. Or this courtroom drama with this sheriff. And I really like Leslie Nielsen.
So
like, you know, I'm old enough to remember when, you know, like when he made Airplane and started that Naked Gun portion of his career, that was the second phase of his career. Like, he had been a serious actor all along. But you forget. So like, it was like, wow, Leslie, like, this is why Leslie Nielsen is an actor. But again, it's not enough room to breathe. Like you, I thought the direction was, you know, I thought there were some interesting choices, a couple of nice angles.
Yeah.
I like the scenes. Raymond St Jacque is fantastic. And this is in that Raymond St Jacque pocket. Like, this is a year after one of our favorite films, Uptight.
Yeah.
So like, this is like, you're right. It's early in his career, but he like, this is that nice Raymond St Jacque groove that we love so much. I thought, I was surprised at how much the issue of sexuality was text and not subtext.
Yeah.
Like this is 2 years after Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, where, you know, he had to kiss her in the rearview mirror. And they have very frank discussions about the implications to their sex life.
They do.
Now that he's a black man and she's a white woman.
I also say that there is a sex scene in this film, and for it to be 1969, it is one of the better sex scenes that I've seen in a movie. Again,
the direction is nice. I'm not sure how they roped Duke Ellington into this.
Me neither. Yeah, I didn't read anything
but
about
it
that.
really did class up the joint. Like, it really classes up the joint. It's like, you know, there's like a really good episode of Night Gallery or Twilight Zone, but the music kind of elevates the whole thing. So that I don't want to say I was frustrated by this film, but it is one of these films that we run into periodically where it's this really kind of backhanded compliment, where the real critique is that it wasn't enough of it.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't enough of it.
Right.
Because all the pieces are there.
All the pieces are there. And I think even you actually point out a little bit more about the subtleties of the legal stuff, where, you know, him being a lawyer and now a black face in this space, and how it changes the way he's playing the game there, that I actually had forgotten about. And that it was a good point to bring out. I think enough of the pieces are there, even though you're right, it needs more room, it needs more breathing room. I think enough of it is there to not only to recommend the movie, as to put it out there, and shout out to our boys at Real Black TV, because this is available right now streaming on YouTube. Invaluable resource.
Yeah.
Real
Shout
Black,
out to Mike
REELBLACK. Real Black. Mike, what's up, dog? But yeah, not only to recommend this, but I believe there should be a campaign, because with all due respect, if that film that we watched last week,
oh, for God's sake,
which I'm drawing a blank on, the Chameleon Street.
Yes.
If Chameleon Street, I guess, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I guess the reason why Chameleon Street got the love that it got from the Criterion Collection is because of the ideas that it tries to put across. I don't think either of us agree. I think we both agree that it's not 100% successful in doing so. But also because the fact that it was written and directed and starring a black man at the time where, you know, everybody's following in Spike Lee's wake. As opposed to this film, which was definitely slept on, does not have the same historic pedigree, shall we say, as far as the people behind this, the makers of it. And that being why this movie maybe hasn't bubbled up to their attention. But I think it really should. I think this is far more worthy.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to get into what was worthier or not, but I definitely think this is something that I'd like to see cleaned up. And I'd like to see conversation around. It's you know, I was talking about double features earlier today with my friends with Nope. Like, there's a film that I want to watch, double feature with Nope, that I'm not going to say because it quasi spoils it. But I would love to watch this with Get Out.
Yeah, a lot of people shouting out whether or not this is a prequel to Get Out.
Yeah, because it is. I think I think you have a couple of these films. I mean, you know, we talked about The Man with Two Heads, but even The Man with Two Heads, I think there's sort of a vein of criticism where people look at it at this sort of axis of race and identity and what it means. And, you know, certainly The Watermelon Man is a masterpiece examining this. But I think this is a worthy addition to that conversation. And all of these films kind of lead to Get Out. And everything that Get Out represented. And you know, I would love to see a Criterion Collection edition of this, because I mean, frankly, I had a hard time finding reviews of this and criticism. And, you know, I have to say, at this point, Josiah's book is sort of like my go-to for everything. Like for this film, like for Josiah to not have this in his book speaks to just how obscure and how much it vanished, because God knows that man is just an archivist when it comes to Black film from this era.
Well, in 1969, the movie probably it's like just predating, you know, that wave of films.
Yeah, look, so between Josiah's book and There's Nothing About This in Donald Bogle's book, you know, Mammy's.
Wow, I would have thought that he would have
nothing in my edition, because again, I was looking because it is this sort of like this is it's kind of in that rarefied air of movies that we've talked about, with speaking of Uptight or something like Brother John, like these films that somehow have kind of slipped away. So the frustration was that I liked it and I wanted to like it more. So
would you recommend people see it?
I think I should ask you.
Well, I already said I would.
I would recommend it. I would recommend it. I think the pieces that are there are good enough to justify watching it. Yeah, absolutely. Like you know, you're talking about the political. Like we haven't even mentioned the hint of the pivot that he makes towards the end, where he's still going to be a political animal, but now he's going to lean into the Black vote. Yeah. But this is like 10 minutes before the movie goes off, and say it together, folks. It's not developed.
It's not. I guess maybe they were hoping for a sequel.
Look, I would love someone to pick this up and dust it off and remake it.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And actually do something interesting with it.
Well, you know, if they did, it wouldn't be a movie. It'd be like an 8-part miniseries.
Look, you could very much have.
You could have some fun with this.
You could very much have some fun with this.
Yeah, really could.
I mean, like I said, the film starts and it's a whole bunch of interesting stuff that they said basically we dealt with that already. Like there's a moment where the governor is trying to strong arm him and basically say, we'll have you disbarred and say that you're not who you are. And he says, I've had like 6 medical experts who said that I am who I am. And I'm like, well, there's some, like, I would love to see that. Like these 6 doctors who came together. Yeah. And how did they measure that?
Exactly.
Like, what's the measurement look like?
That? Because then that measurement then becomes the benchmark for the rest of the
right. Because obviously they didn't test what hand he wrote with or how he liked his roast beef.
Yeah.
You know, family reunions and things. My favorite thing is to go through the buffet line and watch, at the risk of being stereotypical, watching Black people tell them when they have like the pot, when they have like the prime rib, cut mine from the end. Cut mine from the end. I want from you. I want that pink in the middle. So like by the end of the evening, it's just that big chunk of middle meat sitting there,
because
looking all red and bloody,
all lonely.
So
It's like, oh, I know this doesn't end well. All right, well, that's our review of Change of Mind, ladies and gentlemen. Before we tell you of the great film that we are going to be reviewing next week, we invite you all to follow the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. Go to micheauxmission.com where you can hit swag and check out all of the cool designs and gifts that we have available from our good friends at T Public. You can email the Micheaux Mission at micheauxmission@gmail.com, MICHEAUXMISSION @gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail. 215-867-9666. Tell Vincent and Len what's on your mind. And if you send us an email or a voicemail, please give us your name. Doesn't have to be your full government or whatever name you want to go by. And if you would be so kind, let us know from where you hail. We like to know, about our reach. You can follow the Micheaux Mission on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Micheaux Mission. Subscribe to the Micheaux Mission on YouTube as well as on Twitch and wherever you get our podcast, which is available Wednesday morning. This show is available the very next morning, ladies and gentlemen, for your download streaming pleasure, whether it be on Spotify, whether it be on Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Please give us a 5-star rating and a review because that helps people find our show. And don't forget, the Micheaux Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work. Next week on the Micheaux Mission.
All right.
It's Vincent's turn.
Yes.
And we are going to kick off a month of 70s fun.
Yes.
With a film that we could not believe we had not already reviewed.
It seems like we have. It seems like this could be.
We've talked about it so much.
It could be like a Mad Libs episode.
Yeah.
Of
the Micheaux Mission.
People can just plug in their own words.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
As we sit down to review from 1975, Car Wash.
Talking about the car wash. Oh. Car washing.
Next week here on the Micheaux Mission. Oh, man. I'm looking forward to that. And this is from 1975.
Yes, smack dab in the middle.
Because if I remember correctly, there was a remake. Was there a remake of Car Wash?
Was it a remake? I know Snoop had a movie called The Wash,
which ostensibly I think was like a remake of Car Wash. I think. I don't know.
Because Car Wash was such a densely plotted film.
I know.
We'll talk about this next week. But I've seen interviews where Michael Schultz talks about like all of the real deep sociological and social awareness themes in Car Wash. And I was like, did I watch the wrong movie?
Yeah. You be the judge, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, Car Wash here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vince, I'm Len, and in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.